This story is about Abel Gallegos. Little did Simone Duran, 28 years old, realize that she was putting her own life in danger when she chose Alonzo Quintana, a suspect in an attempted murder case, from a lineup of police officers. As revenge for identifying him, Quintana lured her into a motel, abducted her, shot her numerous times, and executed her, together with gangmates Abel Gallegos and Rene Rosales. Gallegos and Rosales then went on to pour gasoline on her corpse and light her ablaze, as if this violence wasn't enough. Following investigations, the murderous trio was identified and brought to justice with the testimony of over 30 witnesses and an abundance of evidence. It didn't take the court very long to come to a decision and punish them. Rene Francisco Rosales has previously been found guilty on 6 occasions of felonies, including interfering with a dead person's body, conspiring to murder someone, being an accessory to a crime, and tampering with evidence. He received a prison term of more than 120 years. Quintana was given a life sentence after being found by the police to be a repeat offender. Abel Candy Gallegos was found guilty of first-degree murder with intent, and after deliberation, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, tampering with a deceased human body, and possession with intent to manufacture or distribute a controlled substance. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 163 years. The court expressed disbelief at such brutality when they were being sentenced.
This was a horrific crime. I am struck by the casualness in which it was committed, the absolute disregard. This is the result. This is where you will end up.
Yet Abel and his companions showed no remorse. This story is about George Gold Thomas, a name that evokes fear among civilians and rival gang members in South Africa, as he is considered to be one of the most dangerous gang leaders in the country. Thomas, whose name translates to violence, has been involved in orchestrating numerous violent crimes, even from inside prison walls. He has faced over 50 charges, including 7 counts of murder, 3 attempted murders, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition, racketeering, housebreaking with intent to rob, and robbery with aggravating circumstances, among other gang-related charges. Thomas has been sentenced to life imprisonment for each of the 7 murders he was charged with. He personally pulled the trigger in 3 of the murders and planned the other 4 from his prison cell. However, Thomas did not act alone, as 6 of his gang members were also given life sentences for their involvement in these crimes. Some of these crimes were carried out under instruction from Thomas while he was in prison. The other accused persons received sentences ranging from 12 to 25 years in prison. The arrests and conviction of Thomas and his cohorts were part of the state's effort to prevent organized crime and crush gang activities in South Africa, where the 26s and 28s, 2 of the country's most notorious gangs, operate. The trial began in 2010 and covered crimes committed by the gangs between 1999 and 2010. The accused persons had over 150 charges against them. Thomas's notoriety was demonstrated by the fact that 12 people linked to the case, including half of the state witnesses, were murdered. In court, the public gallery was cleared to protect terrified witnesses, leaving only journalists to observe the proceedings. Witnesses testified that the gangs had repeatedly attempted to assassinate Curtis Esterhuisen, a gangster from a rival gang known as the Clever Kids. It was after one of these shootings that Thomas was arrested. While he was in jail waiting to be sentenced, Thomas made over 30,000 calls, giving orders to kill lots of people, including witnesses. Throughout the trial, Thomas showed no remorse and even appeared to be smiling. Imagine that you are found guilty of first-degree murder in Massachusetts.
Murder in the first degree. You will, upon your oaths, say that the defendant is guilty on a theory of deliberate premeditation and a theory of extreme atrocity and cruelty.
If so, you will be sentenced to life in jail without the possibility of parole. This is the story of Manuel Rios, who murdered 18-year-old Kenneth Lopez in March 2015, didn't appear to be intimidated by this horrifying possibility. Late in March, the body of the adolescent was discovered on Dwight Street. Respected Hispanic King Street gang members Lee Rios, 24, and Jonathan Guevata, 20, were his collaborators. Rios had an issue with Lopez and persuaded the adolescent that he would make things right. Lopez and Rios took a taxi together to the location of Lopez's death. According to testimony in court, Rios fired 5 rounds, but only 4 struck Lopez, 2 of which were to the head, according to Assistant District Attorney Max Bennett. Afterwards, Rios took Lopez's weapon away. Rios was taken into custody after the police searched his apartment and executed a murder warrant against him. 2 loaded guns, one of which belonged to Lopez, were hidden by the police as they searched the flat. A digital scale, more than 10 grams of cocaine, marijuana packaged for sale, and packing supplies were also found by the police. Together with the murder accusation, Rios is also accused of carrying cocaine with the intent to distribute, storing a high-capacity gun improperly with a child, and having a high-capacity gun in his possession. When confronted with their guilt for Lopez's murder, Rios and his gang members showed no remorse. The ambition of any parent is to see their child grow and perhaps even dance at their wedding. The parents of Kevin Oriana, an 18-year-old West Valley Occupational Center student who was stabbed repeatedly in the head, neck, and chest by Anthony Carpio in late April 2013, were not to benefit from this, though. Anthony Carpio and his brother Michael attacked Kevin while he was at the handball courts on the Cleveland High School campus in Reseda, California. Michael, the one who began the fight, was the only person participating at first. Then, Anthony became involved with a knife, and before you could say Jack Robinson, Anthony had stabbed Kevin roughly 10 times. The brothers fled after spotting that their opponent was injured and ran inside Michelle Pineda's car. They were both members of the gang, known as the Rockwood Street. According to witness accounts, the altercation began when they issued a gang challenge to Kevin, who wasn't a member of the group. Michelle, age 21, received a sentence of 2 years in county jail for her role in transporting the criminals. 20-year-old Michael Carpio received a 15-year-to-life sentence after being found guilty of second-degree murder. This story is about Lisandro Posada, Vasquez, and 4 other members of the MS-13 gang who faced charges for the murder of Raymond Wood. In a cunning scheme, Lisandro and his cohorts lured the 17-year-old Wood into selling them marijuana. They then drove him from Lynchburg to Bedford County, where they brutally murdered him. The gang knocked Wood unconscious, strangled him, repeatedly stabbed him with a knife, and even amputated his right hand. Lisandro pleaded guilty to aggravated murder, abduction for financial gain, and participating in the gang. As a result, he received a life sentence for aggravated murder and an additional 10-year term for his gang participation. 2 of Lisandro's accomplices were also sentenced to life imprisonment, while the other 2 received lengthy prison sentences after being found guilty of murder. Despite admitting his guilt and taking responsibility, Lisandro showed no remorse for his heinous acts during the trial. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos at Courtroom Moments and Reactions, and much more. Check out this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care!